how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Alright, so I'm going to be interviewing you for my Law 521 class about your experience of being a probation officer.
Okay.
So, first of all, what's your full name?
Karen and Goody.
Okay, and how long did you work as a probation officer?
Well, I worked in corrections and probation for about 10 years.
10 years, okay, and where did you work?
I worked in PEI and I worked in Ontario.
Ontario, okay. What exactly were your duties?
My duties for a probation officer, I did different things with the inmates to get them ready for when they went out onto the streets. So if they had to have different programs, everybody's in for a different reason, obviously. So sometimes if they had anger management issues, I would get them set up on programs for their anger management. I would do help them find a job to get them going out into the land of non-criminals. I would just get them all set up and ready to go, and then I would follow them on the outside too. So I would random drug tests, set curfews for them, go pick them up at the bars if they're at the bars and they weren't supposed to be, different things.
And
like
if they, if they went past their curfew or something, would they just go back, right back to jail?
It depended. It depended. I could give them a little bit of leeway, but if it happened all the time, then I would just let the courts know, and then they would be.
And was there a certain age group you mainly worked with?
No, I worked with all different levels.
And what was the youngest?
The youngest was probably 12 that
12.
I dealt with.
What was that for?
Break and enter, probably.
Yeah.
I think so. I worked with a lot of young boys that were sex offenders. That was my last big thing that I did with.
Oh, yeah?
With corrections.
Okay, and what traits do you think are necessary to be a good probation officer?
Number one would have to be patience.
Yeah.
You have to have lots of patience. You have to be very strong-willed. You can't be let people walk over you and be a pushover. But definitely patience is the key, especially when it comes to working with young offenders.
Yeah. What did you think was most rewarding about your job?
I didn't see it so much with the older people, with the older offenders, but with the young offenders, I always had the hope that maybe I could make a difference, and that when they got out into the public, that they would change their lives around.
Exactly.
And I've seen young people after that would come up to me and give me a hug and be like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing now," and be so happy, and it would just make you feel really good.
Yeah. What kind of schooling or training did you need to go through?
I got my psychology degree, and then I went through corrections, the youth worker program, and then I did an upgrading law enforcement.
And where did you get your degree?
Holland College in Summerside at the Justice Institute of Canada, and then I got my UPEI, my psychology, and then I did the upgrading in Ontario.
Okay. What made you decide to become one?
It was just always something that intrigued me. I had an uncle that was the warden at one of the jails, so I decided it was something that really intrigued me and something that I thought I would like to do, and just went for it.
Okay, and what are some pros and cons?
Some pros would be probably, like I said before, you can help, make a difference, and you can, I don't know, just, I really like helping people, which kind of goes back to a con, is because sometimes no matter what you do, there's no help in them. So I guess it would kind of tie in together.
Have you ever worked with any offenders that give you a really hard time?
Oh yes, yeah. I had lots of offenders that gave me a hard time, but I'm good at giving a hard time back. So it's all right.
Sure.
We did good.
Have you ever been put into any dangerous situations?
No, I can't say that I ever felt like I was in a really serious, dangerous situation. Any of the jails that I worked in, it was usually, there was the odd fights and the odd little, but you always feel like we have lockdown and you have other people that you're working with, so I never felt that I was really in that dangerous of a situation.
Okay, and what's one thing you've learned throughout your experience of being a probation officer?
Don't commit a crime because I don't want to go to jail. No, I just, that's probably one of the main things. It's not as some people say that, jail, you get this and you get your meals, and it's not as nice as people think it is. No.
All right. No. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this interview.
No problem.
And I learned lots, and it's greatly appreciated.
No problem.